Committee will come to order.
The momentous hearing gavelled into session.
The impeachment inquiry into Donald J. Trump.
Right out of the gate, a new revelation from the most senior U.S. diplomat in Ukraine, Ambassador Bill Taylor, about President Trump's priorities in Ukraine.
In the presence of my staff at a restaurant, Ambassador Sondland called President Trump and told him of his meetings in Kyiv.
Taylor testifying that an aide overheard a call between Trump and the U.S. ambassador to the European Union, Gordon Sondland.
The member of my staff could hear President Trump on the phone asking Ambassador Sondland about the investigations. Ambassador Sondland told President Trump the Ukrainians were ready to move forward. Following the call with President Trump, the member of my staff asked Ambassador Sondland what President Trump thought about Ukraine. Ambassador Sondland responded that President Trump cares more about the investigations of Biden, which Giuliani was pressing for. At the time I gave my deposition on October 22nd, I was not aware of this information. I'm including it here for completeness.
That incident taking place just one day after the infamous call between Presidents Trump and Zelensky, in which Trump asked for a favor and for Ukraine to investigate the Bidens. Taylor and George Kent, a deputy assistant secretary of state, over the course of half a day laying out for lawmakers what they saw and heard as the Trump administration held up military aid and dangled a White House meeting while demanding political investigations.
I encountered an irregular, informal channel of U.S. policymaking with respect to Ukraine, unaccountable to Congress, a channel that included then Special Envoy Kurt Volker, U.S. Ambassador to the European Union Gordon Sondland, Secretary of Energy Rick Perry, White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney, and, as I subsequently learned, Mr. Giuliani.
Democrats pushing on what the goal was.
What interest do you believe he was promoting, Mr. Kent?
I believe he was looking to dig up political dirt against a potential rival in the next election cycle.
I agree with Mr. Kent.
Taylor also mentioned another call that he had himself with Sondland on the 1st of September, right after the Ukrainians learned that the aid was being held up.
During that phone call, Ambassador Sondland told me that President Trump had told him that he wants President Zelensky to state publicly that Ukraine will investigate Burisma and alleged Ukrainian interference in the 2016 election. He said that President Trump wanted President Zelensky in a public box by making a public statement about ordering such investigation.
Both men making clear how unsettled they were with the rogue Ukraine policy and the demands on the Ukrainians.
It's one thing to try to leverage a meeting in the White House. It's another thing, I thought, to leverage security assistance.
As a general principle, I do not believe the United States should ask other countries to engage in selective, politically associated investigations or prosecutions against opponents of those in power.
Republicans blasted the hearing. The GOP united in their defense that the president never actually demanded investigations. Jim Jordan of Ohio, who was added to the Intelligence Committee for the sole purpose of questioning the impeachment witnesses, driving home a central GOP talking point, that it's all hearsay.
You're their star witness. You're their first witness. You're the guy. You're the guy based on this, based on, I mean, I've seen church prayer chains that are easier to understand than this. Ambassador Taylor recalls that Mr. Morrison told, now again, this is, I hereby swear and affirm from Gordon Sondland. Ambassador Taylor recalls that Mr. Morrison told Ambassador Taylor that I told Mr. Morrison that I conveyed this message to Mr. Yarmouk on September 1st, 20.
Let me just say that I don't consider myself a star witness for anything.
They do.
Kent and Taylor, who are career, non-political diplomats, did not waver and were steadfast in their determination that hundreds of millions of dollars in crucial security aid and a meeting between the presidents in Washington were held back unless Ukraine promised the investigations.
Mr. Kent, is pressuring Ukraine to conduct what I believe you've called political investigations a part of U.S. foreign policy to promote the rule of law in Ukraine and around the world?
It is not.
Is it in the national interest of the United States?
In my opinion, it is not.
To withhold that assistance for no good reason other than help with the political campaign made no sense. It was counterproductive to all of what we had been trying to do. It was illogical. It could not be explained. It was crazy.
Jordan also railing on Chairman Adam Schiff for not calling the whistleblower to testify, but Congressman Peter Welch launching his own rebuttal.
Now, there is one witness that they won't bring in front of us. They won't bring in front of the American people. And that's the guy who started it all, the whistleblower. Nope.
I'd be glad to have the person who started it all come in and testify. President Trump is welcome to take a seat right there.